go ahead and step it up and get the Windy City jumping. And we would love it if the Bulls are a good team, and we're watching them on Thursday night in that opening game for TNT, and it's something that matters. You know what I mean? So pretty much, let's move forward and let's talk about the AP Top 25. Um, this week we don't really have much of a change, but we do have teams that do have to exit out because they lost. Texas, one of them, because they lost to Oklahoma. Oklahoma actually jumped about 8 spots. They're in the top 5 now. I'm kind of surprised. I thought they were going to be a little bit higher because the way they beat Texas, they proved that they've been overlooked all year. But we know that with a win like that for Oklahoma, a lot of times they may go into their next game and go mess around and lose that game. But they're playing against Central Florida. They're a new team on the block, and they got a bot, so they don't have to worry about that too much. But the new AP Top 25 is looking like this. Georgia's still number 1. Michigan is number 2 still. We're going to talk about them right after this as well, too. And we have Ohio State, who's number 3 in the nation right now. You have Florida State, who sticks around in the top 5. They're number 4 right now. You have Oklahoma, I just said, number 5. They got the week off. You got Penn State, who's number 6 in the nation. They actually got a over game when they come back off their bye. They're playing against UMass. Washington's the number 7 team in the nation, and a lot of people feel like Washington should be a little bit higher. Let's keep it real, because Washington has been able to really, really bake teams, and they'll be back this week against Oregon in their biggest game of the season. And that pretty much says if they can beat Oregon, they'll probably jump into the top 4. Let's keep it real. If they can beat Oregon, they'll jump into the top 4. You got Texas, who's number 9 in the nation because they just lost to Oklahoma, and they actually are a spot ahead of USC, who goes from number 4 to number 5 to number 6 to number 8. Now they're at number 10 because they've been that lousy in their last few games. They won the games, but they didn't win the games like a top 10 team or a top 5 team. They won the game like a team that's ranked number 22 in the nation. Okay, and you're just not doing the right thing if you keep rewarding USC for barely winning. So they're at number 10 right now. Alabama finds themselves for the second week in a row outside of the top 10 at number 11. North Carolina moves up a couple steps. They're at number 12 now. Ole Miss moves up a little bit as well, too. They're at number 13. Louisville is an undefeated team. They jumped 11 spots to number 14 after beating Notre Dame on Saturday. Oregon State, they find themselves at number 15. Number 16 right now is Utah, but we understand why. We know Utah should be a little bit higher up on the food chain, but they don't have their quarterback right now. Duke, number 17 in the nation. It's funny, Duke is still sticking around here as number 17, but they're representing the ACC, and they're one of the better teams in the ACC, so they're not going to dismiss them. So that's why you see them in this top group, because you don't have a lot of ACC teams in the top 25 this year. It is what it is. UCLA is back in the top 25. They jumped all the way to number 18 after beating Washington State at the Rose Bowl last week. Then you have Tennessee, who's number 19 at this point. Washington State is tied for number 19, but I would say that they're number 20 in the nation right now. But they have them tied for 19th with Tennessee. But I'm going to make them 20 years. So that's where you have them at. Then you got Notre Dame falling all the way to number 21 after losing to Louisville, and LSU after a kind of a stinky performance. They won, but they moved down even further, and now they're sitting at number 22 in the nation. And then you have Kansas, who isn't out the top 25 yet after losing to Texas a few weeks ago. They find themselves at number 23, and that's pretty good for a Kansas team that is rarely out of the basement of the Big 12. Then you have Kentucky, who lost last week to Georgia. They're at number 24 now. They really didn't go anywhere. And then Miami, who lost a game in the final seconds, did not get booted out the top 25. They saw the way that they lost, and the way that they lost, you really can't put them out of the top 25. And Miami has a big game this week with North Carolina, so it looks better with both teams being ranked, because you know the possibility of the upset is coming from Miami against North Carolina. So pretty much with that, that's going to be a wrap on the top 25. And I feel like we're going to have to probably get this thing corrected very, very soon. And I say this because this team right here is absolutely playing